Let's talk about the NFL right now, because to start the day, we've had 4 trades happen in past 4 days in the NFL, which is really, really exciting stuff. 4 trades in 4 days. Let's talk about the trades and see what we think of them. So, and some of the releases that have happened, rumors of players going places, yada yada yada. Let's talk about that. So, to start, I want to grading big moves. I want to talk about the trade that just happened today. DJ Moore getting traded from the Chicago Bears to the Buffalo Bills for a 2nd round pick. DJ Moore obviously was a former Carolina Panther, got traded in the Bryce Young trade that turned out to be Caleb Williams, obviously, for the Bears. Had a couple good years with Chicago with Justin Fields and Caleb Williams, but after the Bears took guys like, if you remember, they took Colston Loveland in the 1st round, Luther Burden in the 2nd round, Rome Odunze is a 1st round pick, Cole Kmet is obviously still there, Olamide Zaccheaus gave them great slot production this past season. I really like this trade if I'm the Chicago Bears. The Bears seem to be the #1 team that I've seen rumored for Max Crosby, and for them to trade DJ Moore, get off the contract of DJ Moore because he's not a young guy, he's making money, and get a 2nd round pick in this deal. Honestly, I kind of agree slightly with, I don't think it's this extreme of the grades, A to a D, but I would definitely say the Bears won this trade in my opinion. Not even that DJ Moore is a bad player by any means, it really just is the fact that they have his replacement sitting right there. Luther Burden was fantastic in the 2nd half of the year, specifically in a couple playoff games. To me, Luther Burden next year could be more productive than DJ Moore in the DJ Moore role. So I really like this trade for the Chicago Bears to just keep getting your draft capital up, especially when you're looking to upgrade, make a big upgrade on defense. This is how you get that draft capital to do it. As for the Bills, I don't understand it that much, if I'm being honest, if I'm the Buffalo Bills, because between Khalil Shakir and Keon Coleman, obviously you don't love the receiver room you already have if you're the Buffalo Bills. Hence why they make this trade to bring a guy in to increase their depth in that wide receiver room. Is DJ Moore really the guy that you feel like you make the trade? I mean, DK Metcalf was just traded for a 2nd round pick 1 year ago. Receivers get traded for this kind of around 2nd round pick draft compensation all the time. DJ Moore last year had 680 yards. Like, DJ Moore has not had a year that he's been like a dominant #1 guy, in my opinion, and not on a good team. And he's only getting older. He's been the one thing I will say, he plays, right? If you look at his games played right here, I know you guys can't see that. Hold on, let me move it over so you can see that real quick. He plays games, right? He's never played a season playing under 15 games in a season. So if you're going for the durability side of things, right, DJ Moore is fantastic in that. Now, mind you, he's not getting any younger. Going into next season, he's going to be at the end of his 29th year of being alive. Don't love this trade for Buffalo. I don't think DJ Moore is that answer at wide receiver, but what I will say is Joe Brady loves his screen passes, and DJ Moore is a great screen receiver. So I think that, come playoff time, if you're telling me that they're going to be throwing the ball deep to DJ Moore and not to Brandon Cooks, yeah, I like the trade for them. If you're telling me that DJ Moore is going to be the reason they go to the Super Bowl for that 2nd round pick, I don't know if I agree with all that. I like the trade for the Bears, moving on from him. I don't know if I love it for the Bills yet. We got to see what his role looks like, because him and Khalil Shakir are very similar players. They paid Josh Palmer $12 million over 3 years. They've obviously took Keon Coleman, which has not panned out the way they wanted to. Brandon Cooks was their #1 receiver in the 2nd half of the year, which they brought in at that point in the season. Is it perfect? No. Could it work in the long run? Yes. This was a weird trade. Chiefs trade Trent McDuffie to the Rams. If you guys were around on stream, you know that I predicted this. Straight up, I predicted the Rams to use one of their 1st round picks and trade for a cornerback. I actually literally said Trent McDuffie's name. It literally happened. the draft capital that the Chiefs got back in this trade. Round of applause. Round of applause. Trent McDuffie to me is on a very similar tier as a cornerback in terms of production as Sauce Gardner. You're not going to get 2 first-round picks for Trent McDuffie, though. So for them to get a first-round pick, a 5th, a 6th, and that 2027 third, I do like it for both sides. I think Trent McDuffie is a perfect addition to that Rams secondary, sitting next to guys like Cam Curl, Emmanuel Forbes. They needed that top guy to dominate their secondary. The Rams, especially since they're in such a win-now position, which we don't know Stafford's timeline, but it's definitely this year. Increasing their secondary is a big, big thing in my opinion. As for the Chiefs, I say on paper I like it because I like the draft compensation they got back, and I love, if you're the Chiefs, I love to sit here and say, you know, we have 2 first-round picks. If you're the Chiefs, you love to be able to say that. What I don't love, if you're the Chiefs, is saying that there's a chance you've just traded the best player on your secondary for the next 3 years for the 29th overall pick. What I mean by that is, hypothetically, say the Chiefs get right back into contention next year. Obviously, they had the down year, but they went to 3 Super Bowls in a row before that. I expect the Chiefs to bounce back, be a playoff team within the next year. Depending on how they use this draft capital, I could see the cornerback position biting them in the butt late in the playoffs. If they get to that point again, Trent McDuffie was their number 1 cornerback. Now, mind you, only 3 interceptions in the past 2 years I saw the statistic of. So if you want to go off pure interceptions, the data doesn't love Trent McDuffie. If you want to go off, you know, him guarding CeeDee Lamb and A.J. Brown, the data definitely doesn't love Trent McDuffie because he got cooked by every receiver in the AFC or in the NFC East. But getting a top talent like that, probably a top 10 to 12 cornerback in football for your first-round pick, especially for the Rams when you have the 13th overall pick already, it's just worth it. It's worth it for the Rams to give up the draft capital. As for the Chiefs, I got to see what they do with that draft picks. This makes me really, really lean into the fact that they want Jeremiah Love, or they want an offensive threat with that 9th overall pick, and then they can bolster their defense later in the draft. But I think this was a very similar trade. I probably would have gone B plus for the Rams and B for the Chiefs. Chiefs betting on themselves, Rams trying to get win now. David Montgomery traded to the Houston Texans for Juice Scruggs, who I didn't know who he was before this trade happened. One of the most unique names in all of football, Juice Scruggs. Very funny name. A 4th-round pick and a 7th-round pick. Texans grade is a D, Lions grade is an A. I don't know how you could look at what the Texans did this past year with the run game being as abysmal as it was for the first half of the year and give this grade a D for the Texans. I don't know how you could. I know, like, Woody Marks was very solid when he had his moments, but, like, let's not act like the Texans had a good running offense ever throughout this season. I know when they played the Steelers it was good because the Steelers allowed, you know, bad running games to every bad running back. But, like, David Montgomery is a very good running back. I think that we got a little too caught up in how bad the Lions finished their season last year. The Lions, the reason, probably half the reason why this is an A for the Lions is because they're saying now Jahmyr Gibbs becomes a workhorse back. And Jahmyr Gibbs as a workhorse back is just like, I mean, fantasy football players rejoice for how incredible Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be next year with the touches he's going to get. But let's not forget the talent of David Montgomery. He's been a very, very good running back everywhere he's gone, from when he was in Chicago as a starting running back, giving them 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns a year. Went to the Detroit Lions. I mean, he had back-to-back double-digit touchdown seasons, 13 touchdowns in 2023, 12 touchdowns in 2024. Obviously, while splitting the carries back and forth with Jahmyr Gibbs, I think this is a pretty win-win trade in my opinion. Breaking up Sonic and Knuckles is sad for the culture. I know a lot of Lions fans are upset about it. But David Montgomery wanted to be a running back 1 somewhere. He'll split carries with Woody Marks, but he'll get majority of the goal line backs. He'll get first down reps, which he wasn't getting in Detroit. I could see this trade very much working out for Houston. If they make the playoff push and their defense is as good as it was last year, I don't think there's any reason why Houston couldn't win the AFC South next year. And if David Montgomery is going to be the best running back on that team, What's a 4th round pick and a 7th round pick when you already have the defense? You've got to build your offensive line, and that's basically all that they have to do, and trust in C.J. Stroud to be championship contenders. Go buy low on a running back that has been a part of winning teams. I think I like this trade, honestly, for both teams. I would not have gone as aggressive as A and D. I would have probably given this about a B+ for the Lions and about a B- for the Texans, but I see why both teams did this. The Texans traded an offensive tackle to the Browns for a 5th round pick, so funny enough, Texans basically moving down one draft in that David Montgomery trade. They traded a 4th for DeMont. They got a 5th back from the Browns. That's just basically moving back whatever that draft compensation is. I don't know much about Titus Howard, so I can't say much about this, but the Browns, I will say, just bringing depth into their offensive line is really, really good for them, because all 5 of the Cleveland Browns starting offensive linemen from this past year are all free agents. So go get a guy for a 5th round pick. Clearly the Browns liked him. This is a new coaching staff that they just brought in. This is Todd Monken making this deal. If they believe in him, what's a 5th round pick? And that's really the big trades that happened so far. We're still looking into, the other big trades that are coming up, if any trades are going to happen. Names of like A.J. Brown obviously getting thrown around in trades all the time. A lot of good receivers out there. But yeah, I think a lot of these trades so far have made sense. I'm not loving this DJ Moore to the Bills, though. I'm not loving it originally. Got to see how that pans out later into the season. And then lastly, we got to talk about free agency tracker. Talking about free agency, thought it was interesting seeing that after 15 years with the New Orleans Saints, Cameron Jordan is going to test free agency. It would be so weird to see Cameron Jordan in any other uniform that's not the New Orleans Saints. So 36 years old, he's had 132 career sacks. If someone goes out there and signs Cam Jordan, but yet no team would go out there and sign Von Miller, I will not understand it at all. Continuing on, reworked contract for McKinney. There's gonna be a lot of stuff in here that we don't need to talk about. Shout out to my Pittsburgh Steelers for releasing Jonnu Smith. That cleared up $7 million in cap space. Obviously, he was an all-pro tight end the year with Miami. Came to Pittsburgh, was kind of buried into our depth chart with Darnell Washington and Pat Freiermuth getting minutes. So $7 million released with Jonnu Smith. I really, really like that move for us. Continuing on, though, the biggest questions are, if we're talking teams, Seattle Seahawks, Kenneth Walker, Rashid Shaheed, Tariq Woolen. Those are the big 3 names. Kenneth Walker is obviously the top of that list right there. Is Kenneth Walker, Super Bowl MVP, going to return to the Seattle Seahawks? I don't know. I think they're going to have to pay him upwards of $14 to $15 million. Are the Seahawks going to be wanting to do that with knowing that they're going to have to be paying guys in the future with being on a Super Bowl contending team? I'm not sure. That's kind of the biggest team in terms of free agency, because obviously they won the Super Bowl. Coming back from that, they have 3 of their key contributors in their slot cornerback and really most physical cornerback in Tariq Woolen. They acquired Rashid Shaheed for a 4th and a 6th round pick. Now, mind you, if you would have told them, would you trade a 4th and a 6th round pick for just the kick return he had against the 49ers in the first round of the playoffs? I bet you Seattle just says yes already to that trade. But I could see Rashid Shaheed getting thrown the bag. I can't lie. I could see Rashid Shaheed getting thrown the bag from a team like the Cleveland Browns, the Denver Broncos. I could see one of those teams really throwing the bag at him. Let me check out some stuff down here. It's gonna be that was our talk of and like Mike Evans. I thought Mike Evans was gonna be a Buffalo Bill. I thought that was gonna be a great trade, and now that's clearly not happening. Malik Willis versus Kyler Murray. Who would you rather have? I don't know. Pick your poison. I couldn't. If the Cardinals go out and get Malik Willis after releasing Kyler Murray, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I will never understand that. I will not understand that. Travis Etienne is one of those running backs that I think will sign later into the season with Bichal, Tootin, LaCoy Allen, all the running backs that Jacksonville has. I don't know if they're going to want to bring him back immediately. Obviously, trading for Tank Bigsby But ETN, I could very much see if say Seattle doesn't re-sign Kenneth Walker, I could see ETN going and being a Seahawk for a lower price. I'm interested to see where running backs end up. Jawan Jennings being 29 years old, I can't wait to see where Jawan Jennings ends up. Stephon Diggs obviously just got released by the New England Patriots. He was one of the top dogs over there in New England. How's New England going to replace Diggs? I could very much see Mike Evans now. I could see Mike Evans to New England very, very much happening. That's been my new prediction since I saw they released him. Wan'Dale Robinson, short slot receiver. I could very much see him getting paid by the Cleveland Browns or one of those teams that are in need of a receiver. Rico Dowdle. I've seen a lot of rumors of Rico Dowdle to the Kansas City Chiefs, and I kind of like it. I can't lie. I kind of like Rico going to the Kansas City Chiefs. Him and Pacheco 1-2 punch I think would work out. Big question with the Steelers quarterback position. Aaron Rodgers is going to be Rodgers. It's going to be Kyler. It's going to be Will Howard. It's going to be a draft pick. Kirk Cousins. Where's Kirk Cousins going to end up? That's a big question there for you guys. I saw rumors that Kyler Murray is basically down to the Minnesota Vikings or the Atlanta Falcons as his next team. Is Kyler Murray really going to be the takeover of Michael Penix? Like, I don't know. And if so, is Kirk Cousins going to get a starting job with, say, the New York Jets or the Arizona Cardinals next year? We don't know. I saw Deebo Samuel's likely not going to return to the Washington Commanders. So, Deebo, is he going to require $17 million on a contract? If Josh Palmer's making 12, how is Deebo not making 18? So, I don't blame Deebo if he gets annoyed at that. One of my sneaky underrated receivers in this free agency class, Jalen Naylor of the Minnesota Vikings. I think he could go somewhere like the Patriots and make an instant impact, Jalen Naylor. I love him. But there's a lot of good players available in free agency right now. It's going to be very interesting to see who ends up where. Obviously, free agency is before the draft, so this will kind of solidify what direction teams are going to go in the draft. For example, if we see the Chiefs not draft a single offensive threat, you can almost guarantee that with that 9th pick now they're going to go offense. But we shall see where a bunch of these players end up in free agency. I'm super, super excited for free agency, though, in this entire NFL offseason. We have a month and a half until the NFL draft. I believe it's happening in the middle of April. Yeah, it's going to be a good one. Kobe Bryant also, Seattle Seahawks, a free agent. I swear, Seattle's got so many guys they got to bring back and not a lot of money to do it. So we will see what ends up happening with the Super Bowl champions, running backs, wide receivers, quarterbacks, who's going to outbid for Malik Willis, who's going to I think Kyler Murray's going to be a Viking. I really think Kyler Murray's going to be a Viking. But yeah, there you go. That is that's going to be my NFL talk for the day, talking about the previous NFL trades that happened and upcoming NFL free agency.